Hey everyone, time for Geocache Talk. Whether you're at work, in the car, wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please give a like and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, lots of places. Um, Big thanks to Trail Books for the music, our patrons, Demon Hunter 2, Electric Water Boy, Aggie Jedi Master, Antaeus, Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, Nick at Cashley, One Kind Word, Butterfly Girl, Loon Trackers, the Aussie Geocacher, Sodak Zach. There he is. The Deadliest Cachers, Trill 2, Neil Moore, Team D&D, Geocaching Adam, Peachy 1276, the No Code Geocachers, Tick Magnet, Marsipanic, Bricker John, Firesafe, FS Sabero, Geo Rick, Cash Addict Mel, Geocaching Janji. There she is. The Geocaching Junkie, Sir Drumalot, Janice, Tricassius, Tom Frey, and Heltonen. I had to add in that one. They're, sometimes you got to throw in the spouse if they're geocaching. You know what I mean? Rugels, EGK PBR, Casamaya, Master Sergeant USMC, Little Gears, Albedo 0.39. It's only Barney. Purple Turtles 3, ACDC Family, None of It Tidy, AFK Geocaching, Josh Boggs, Carrot Killer, Korsgat, Geocaching with Lampe, Bren Tim 07, Dave and Karen of Cache Canada, Team Tailwagger. Why I struggle with that one. Black Chrome, Super Nate, The Twonky, Burnt Turtles, Padib, Kazelli, Dragon, Gunter Hunters, Acme Wild Cachers, P0001, ADK Sarah, Eastern Girls, KC, Billy Robson, Fox and the Hound, TX Wolf Totem, K Blast, Landlocked Pirate Fam, Statuki, Burns Fire, Hockey Zombie, Ship to Shore, A Holly S, Geo Dandrew, Dire Wolf 821, Deuteronomy 31:8, Sasquatch Lover, Anjay Damon, and our new patron, Emily Renee. That's easier than Anjay at Damon. That's okay.
You pronounce them so well.
I know. I butcher them all. I actually asked Emily this week. I said, okay, I want to make sure I get this right. Yours is just, and I pronounced it out like phonetically as I sent her a text. I said, Emily Renee. She's like, yeah, it's like Emily Renee. It's like, okay, I got it. That one I could do. No tricks to that one. It's just easily. She's got an easy one to do. All right. If you'd like
Gary,
to, yes.
I think in the future shows we should time and see how fast you can do them.
Oh gosh, you want to do that?
The pressure will be on. You'll be stumbling all over it.
I don't need the pressure. If you'd like to, somebody's got to turn their volume down just a touch. If you'd like to become on their speakers, thank you. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocache talk for more details. Patrons get the new blackout coins. We still have some left. So, yep.
I love those.
Zach's got his. He's showing. Other geocaching items during the year. We've got an announcement we're not ready to give. You like that? That's our usual. We're saving it for another show, but we have a geocaching item that we're going to announce at some point. Right, Jesse?
Which one are you talking about? The one we're going to announce tonight or the one we're not going to announce tonight?
No, not tonight. Later on. The one
okay.
that a patron item that we're going to talk about later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can't talk about that one tonight.
Can't talk about it yet, but we're very excited about that one. We've got a cool thing in the works. And we have some bonus content. So tonight, actually, we're doing a bonus show, Off the Record, another episode of Off the Record for our patrons that we'll do after the show for them. Invites to special events only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as $3 a month. So let me welcome my co-host, Jesse.
Good evening.
And let's jump right into show 118 for September 30th as we welcome back to the show. The whole Geocache Talk Network is on tonight. So Angie
Hey, everybody.
and Zach.
Hey guys.
Here he is. Welcome back to the show. Glad to have you guys and gal on tonight. So, all right.
Plenty of people for our topic, and the chat room is going to be pretty vocal tonight, I believe.
Oh,
We've already invited them to jump in anytime to give their
Absolutely.
opinion on our topics tonight.
absolutely. Absolutely. But first, the news.
The news.
All right.
The news.
It says, as we, yeah, we said, and now the news. So the GT Stash tonight, we're releasing Clue 3-2, and 3-2 has been released. So good luck on finding and interpreting Clue 3-2. So, all right. So new loot. So I wanted we try to add something every week to the loot, to the stash.
Mm-hmm.
This week's kind of cool. This one actually comes with a whole write-up. So I've got a write-up here. This is from Chris Mackey, one of his coins. It's called The Legend of Davy Jones. And so what's cool is you get a whole cool write-up about the coin. And I'll show you the coin here in a second. But anyway, this will be part of the loot. And here is the coin. And it's pretty wild. Wild, man. So there's the coin. There it is. The Legend of Davy Jones. And so I'm pretty fired up about this coin. This is really cool. So where's all right, I can show the back. So there's the back. Anyway, it's got a whole write-up. Here's the other cool part. You get the write-up, which is pretty sweet. You get the coin. Very cool coin. And you get a proxy that you can send out. So you can send a trackable with this. So it's kind of cool. You can do all three. So
Yeah, you're not going to send that coin out.
No, but you can send the proxy.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about proxies, I don't know if everybody knows this, but you can attach the proxy to something else if you wanted to, like a explanation of what it is and where it's going. It's got a little hole. Y'all ever notice that? Bottom of the coin has a.
How is that going to attach to something?
You can put a pin in it and kind of maybe use that as a. I think that's what that's for. So.
I think you blow it and it whistles.
No. But it's used. I'm pretty sure.
No, I think you do.
Right. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Andy's gonna jump in. Yeah. Why'd you try? I don't trust any of you people. So anyway, so there you go. That's what's in the loot tonight. All right. So a quick shout out to our fellow geocachers that are in Seattle this weekend for Geocoin Fest. That was today, and of course people are doing stuff this whole weekend. So did you guys kind of keep up with the folks that were there and the activities going on? Anybody? Us? Yeah, y'all.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. I kind of
Keep
kept
up.
up.
Keep up with what?
The Geocoin Fest. The people that were at Geocoin Fest.
Mm-mm.
No.
I've been getting further and further away from social media, so I don't hear any of that stuff anymore.
Well, apparently they had a great time, from what I could tell. I don't know. Social media, yeah. There was a lot of cool stuff going on. I saw some. Charles Watkins did some periscopes yesterday, and he showed some really cool lab caches. And lab caches, that's really like a whole show about lab caches, but they had 20. So it's kind of, usually it's 10.
They're kind of getting outside of the norm for the lab cache. I think they're really experimenting with those right now. Yeah, gigas were 30. This one was kind of like 20. And that's something that Brian Roth talked about last week on the show, which, by the way, we've had a lot of people who've rewatched that show. He was cool.
He was great, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, and not, you would think he'd come on being kind of nervous about what's going to be said, and he didn't. He was totally calm and cool about everything, and was very open and wasn't afraid to answer questions or anything. That guy was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think he did a great job. And we didn't really prep him with anything. We just said we probably wouldn't ambush him. He's like, yeah, whatever. I can handle it. I'll handle whatever you got. It's like, all right.
We probably wouldn't ambush him. We didn't.
Probably. No, we didn't.
If he wouldn't have been as cool as he was, I had a couple questions in my pocket I could have thrown out there. But he was so cool, I didn't want to be a...
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, he was one of the top viewed, I believe, that you've had, besides like Podcast of Hope, which always sticks out just because of how long it is. But
yeah,
that was
good. We had almost 400 have watched it so far already, which I think that's pretty good numbers. So
speaking of Podcast of Hope, we should speak about that.
We should. So we have an announcement about Podcast of Hope, and so I'm going to throw it over to Jesse to give the announcement.
So once again this year, we're going to do Podcast of Hope in December, and we've chosen again to stick with St. Jude as our charity. So we're going to try to do another 8-hour marathon fundraising for St. Jude.
Yep.
We're going to have all kinds of shows, and we'll have more information about that as it gets closer. But I'm sure we're going to try to have as many people on as we can, have some more roundtables, have some fun with it. It'll be geocaching related, obviously, and geocachers, but we'll do some other stuff too around the holiday times and some fun. But we'll talk more about St. Jude as we get closer for anybody that's not familiar with that. And it's just a great charity. I mean, it's childhood cancer, research for childhood cancer. How can you go wrong with that? But so we're going to pull a full 8 hours on December 2nd.
Yep.
And who knows? We'll probably have some pretty good guests and some surprises. And hopefully we'll be able to raise even more money than we raised last year. What did we end up raising last year?
Ooh, good question. I'll have to look that up. 2,000?
Yeah, I know we beat our goal, whatever it was.
We did.
We beat the goal from the previous year. So
we did. Yep.
It was good. Everybody was involved last year. It was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that again. And St. Jude's pretty close to our heart. Christy used to work there. So it's one of the best places I've ever seen how they use their money for charity. So I'm very excited about that. And I hope we really do even better this year. So
yeah, we'll set a high goal, and I'm sure we're going to make it because we've got great people that join in. And yeah, it's going to be a star-studded cast like normal. We'll do another Christmas in some other country to kind of enjoy the international flavor of another country. We've done Ireland and we did Australia, so we'll find another country and some folks in that country who'll help us out and be part of this. And like you said, it'll be some geocaching, some off the wall stuff that we usually do every year. This will be our 3rd year that we've done that, Jesse. I think that's cool. We've done that. And
I was very touched and impressed at how much the whole extended Geocache Talk family really raised last year. And but that's enough of that seriousness.
Yes.
Let's have some fun tonight.
On to some more stuff.
Let's have some screaming and some fun.
We're going to get into it. Yeah. Another couple quick notes. So starting, I guess, on
tomorrow.
They do this. Yeah. So tomorrow's the last one started on the 3rd. This one starts on the 1st.
Yeah, it starts midnight tonight.
Yep. And it's you might be a caching connoisseur if there are no LPCs, guardrails, or PNGs for you. You're all about creativity. The higher the favorite points, the better. And like a fine wine, these quality caches have stood the test of time. To earn the caching connoisseur souvenir, earn 60 points individually on your friend league, which I always think is weird, but we'll get into that tonight. Starting October 1st at noon, runs through October 29th at noon. This month, you earn higher points for finding geocaches with 10 or more favorite points. A true connoisseur could achieve this score by finding 4 great caches. How many will it take for you? Blah, blah, blah. So there you go.
I guess you get 5 points for finding a cache, and then you can get up to 10 points for if they have 10 favorite points or more. So up to 15 points per cache.
Yeah, I think it's something like right. Because 4 would be 15, 60. So yeah.
I did a quick search. There's no caches left in the city that I live in with 10 or more favorite points that I haven't found. But I can go to the next town over, so it won't be that hard.
Okay, well, that's good. Angie, I hate to ask, did you make it last month?
I just did today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
I had
Good
47 and then we went today, so.
Yeah, you were good.
I'm sure you got your Zach pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first day or two.
Right.
You'll probably have your souvenir again tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I got another 20 today. 20 where I goes.
That's right. Nice.
That's crazy.
I think 24 caches overall. I mean, and I'm getting pretty low on caches in the Sioux Falls area.
Are you still on your streak?
Yeah, 715 days.
Oh my gosh.
And inside of that, I'm approaching 75 of those days are non-traditionals every day.
Wow. This is pretty cool.
That is a lot. I am on a 1-day streak, but it's about to break it because I haven't found any today. So I found one yesterday. 3 yesterday, 3 FTFs last night.
It happens. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, no problem. Real fast. At Your Own Risk is coming out. Officially comes out. You can pre-order right now, but it comes out on October 9th. It's going to be released on iTunes, and then later on, I asked them to make sure, where can you get it if you're not an iTunes person, and they said, yeah, it'll be later. It'll be put on Amazon, probably not too long after the iTunes thing. I think they got some sort of deal to do an iTunes exclusive for a few weeks, and then they're going to switch to Amazon. But they will be on the show 11/11. We're going to have on Alexandra Boyens and John. It's bad. John, what's his last name? I'll get it. Hang on. I'll
and
grab
for anybody that
it.
doesn't know, it's a new movie coming out involving geocaching.
Yep.
Yeah, it's geocaching themed. Hopefully you went and watched the trailer. There's a very cool trailer. It's out there right now, and it's very exciting. They as I talked to them to try to work on seeing if we can get them to be on the show, and it's like it's very geocaching themed. It's family. It's a little intense, so it's probably like PG if you want to look at it at that kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's a little bit intense, so I don't think it's really for everybody, in that sense. But
let's be honest, it's a movie that has geocaching in it. We'll probably all watch it at some point.
Oh yeah.
Any movie that's got geocaching in it, I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
It would have to be pretty terrible.
Right.
Not to at least watch part of it.
Why don't let's take a moment. Let's actually can we show it? Why don't we show it, because it's very short, and I think it would be cool to show this real fast. So we'll get into our topic here in a second. So, all right, because it's pretty amazing. All right. So let me go back up. All right. Y'all see that okay? Everybody? Did I lose you?
We're all on mute. We can see it.
Oh, you can? Okay, I'm sorry. Well, okay. That's good. Okay, because you freaked me out because I can't see the screen right now. All I can see is the screen.
Gotcha.
So thanks. All right, here we go. We're going to watch this, and then we'll talk about it real quick afterwards. So let me hide that, and let me start from the beginning, and here we go.
This is so beautiful. Do you think that maybe we've gotten a little too wrapped up in our company and we've forgotten that places like this exist?
I hate the desert.
What?
The desert has a mind of its own. It's like it's out to get you.
We're not gonna die, Tay.
We're looking to hire a PR firm to help us launch this very unique adventure experience in the style of a treasure hunter geocache, if you will. The great thing is you'd be paid for doing a beta test. And if you successfully complete the journey, you're hired.
Coordinates, great. Yeah. Definitely let them know that we love this part of the game.
This is great.
Look at this car.
This set deck's amazing.
It's gorgeous.
of our tent.
Is this part of the game?
I don't like this. Did we read the rules wrong? No, we didn't. There's supposed to be someone here. We made it to the last cache.
Come out! We want our money and we want to go home.
Wait, they want us to know they can see us.
At least that means they didn't abandon us in the middle of nowhere.
You think they're gonna start telling us the truth now?
I want to keep playing the game.
You want to finish the game after all of this?
Yeah, I do.
Let's just get home.
Maybe there's some things about me you don't know. There's gotta be a mistake.
How did they send us here?
I can't take it anymore.
They're winning.
Then I want to win.
If you're tuned in, we are watching YouTube live on the podcast.
That was pretty wild. So, all right. So let me switch.
The
back.
funniest part of it is she's like, "You want to finish the game after all this?" And she's like, "Yeah." That's so me.
Well, I would.
Right.
Well, yeah, we already started. We're not going to turn back now.
Right. Exactly. All right.
That's
Enough
funny.
of-
Which, you know what? That's a good segue into our topic tonight.
Yes.
Geocaching ethics. So there was another
get into
geocaching movie, and it had trackables in the movie.
True.
Is it okay to virtually log trackables that you see like that?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, Zach is done deliberating, so
We'll see how honest everyone in the chat room is.
Right.
that's funny. Angie?
I think it's okay. That doesn't bother me. As long as the owner knows that that's what's happening and they're okay with it. I guess, when people take pictures and share them with a bunch of people and they don't want that, then I'd be against that.
Yeah.
That's the only time.
Yeah, I think, I don't really care who logs mine.
Yeah.
Other than one, my tattoo, I do look at those a little bit more. But honestly, I own a lot of trackables, and if people log them that found them somewhere or saw, I don't care. And I've been to so many events, there's no way I could keep up with it anyway, right? But
We got ours behind us too. So I got
Yeah.
that one.
so if that's a violation, we're violating every week.
Yeah.
Everyone's calling you out on the chat room, Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And for those of us listening on audio, come check out the YouTube channel if you want a free trackable code.
free
or
trackable
two.
code.
But anybody that thinks we're not going to log a trackable number like in a movie, yeah, come on, please.
Things have changed. I think when it originally started, this wasn't even a possibility. So I think they were very much into, no, you can't log that unless you physically saw it and had it in your hand, kind of thing. And things have changed. The world of geocaching has changed, which we're going to talk about because some things may be okay now that wasn't before. And by the way, it's John Katie Graham. I just had to finish that.
Oh, okay.
He's the director, producer, and Alexander Boylan is also producer, and she's one of the actors who will be on the show. So I just want to finish that thought. So go ahead.
So are there any ethics about, not if you're moving them, but if you're just discovering them, how long or when you're supposed to do it? Like if you see one this weekend at an event, should you do it now or do you hold on to it or what?
I'm just really organized. I feel like I just do it right away, or I probably won't. I'll probably end up deleting it on my camera roll.
Right.
So nobody's ever accused me of being organized, but that's not why I do it anyway.
Right.
I hold on to mine for my convenience, and I log mine in large groups at one time. So I just put them on a list, and once I finally get around to it, I'll do like log them all and do like 50 at a time or 100 at a time. I don't even, and I'm like, I saw this at some point. If they delete it, they delete it, whatever. I don't really care, to be honest.
I was at the Giga. There was a guy that was walking around just passing out like a spreadsheet of all of the trackables that he owns.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's like, I didn't feel like bringing them all and people sifting through them. I'd rather just pass out the sheet so it saves people the time on this trip because the Giga was everyone's trying to make the most of every minute of every day. So I still haven't logged them all because I'm like, what's going on. But he was passing out like it probably had 200 trackable codes on it.
Right.
So yeah, there's a good one. I've done that too. So me and my friends all have, probably I have less than some of the other ones, but they have hundreds of them, and they'll have a big sheet, and they'll share it with you. I haven't looked through every one of their trackables, but I've got a sheet of all those. I don't see that that's any big deal. The owner knows, right?
Yeah, as long as you don't steal it. I've had people take my code, and then now there's ways you can keep it. So
what do you mean take your code?
Well, they'll if you don't put it in the right location, they can grab it, and it's like, wait a minute, you don't.
I love to do that. So
yeah, you did that to me.
I did.
That's mean.
My favorite ones is when people don't, log them right on the line, and like the vehicle trackables. I always put those in caches if I can. I log them into a cache somewhere.
Dang it!
You did that with mine like a year ago on this show. I think I posted my Moga medal or something, and all of a sudden it was in a cache out in Colorado.
In my backyard, an archive cache in my backyard.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, half of my trackables are hidden on my profile on like geocaching.com. I got a bunch of them hidden in my profile there, so I'm sure I'm violating all kinds of rules with that. But
I don't think they care about those. I really don't. They do that.
I can see we're all bad, ethical people already, even with the first topic tonight. So that's
all right.
Except for maybe Angie. She seems to be the nice one. She's the little angel in the corner, and we all have like the horns over here.
The horns on.
No.
All right. Here's the next one. Puzzles. Do you log even if you didn't solve? So my question is that if you're with a group, let's say, or with another person, and they solved a puzzle and they go, hey, the final is like right down this road. Let's go stop and grab it. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Let's do it. And you get there and you both sign it and you go, yeah, I found the cache.
All right, Gary, you want to go first? And don't even lie.
Now, why do I have to go first? This is not fair. I'm going to ask the question.
You have to go first this time.
I asked the question. So here's my rational. Yes, I do log it. So,
here's your rationalization of it. Go ahead.
Here's my rationalization. I was part of the process because
you watched them grab the final for a puzzle they solved.
No.
Did you stay in the car while they grabbed the final too?
No. I had to take. But act like don't act like that you've never done this.
Please, come on. If somebody came to me right now and goes, hey, I solved this puzzle, but I want to go, come help me find it. Of course I'm going to go.
Of course you're going to go.
And of course I'm going to log it.
No, also you're gonna put your little white collar on with your black shirt, and you're gonna can't do that.
Nope. Hold on, wait, guys. Let me solve this before I get out of the car.
Yep.
Yeah. Stop.
No. Of course you do that, but I'm not going to log it unless I was like you're saying. Is like I might have solved the puzzle, but I was there. I helped him find the final. I drove him there with me. That kind of thing. So I'm not going to say, oh yeah, put my name on it too, even though you're not with them. That I don't. That's too far.
That's armchair logging. I don't think anything we're talking about tonight is armchair logging, where somebody just totally making up and never went near to any part of a cache, right? I mean, that's so far off the left.
Well,
we're talking about stuff that's more.
Yeah, because armchair, that's fine. So we don't even have to talk about it.
No, that's.
All right, now this one's.
I don't think I actually know anybody that would admit to that anyway, right? Like, I don't even understand. There's no fun in that.
I armchaired one that was like you're actually allowed to armchair it. Like that was the design. The design
if they'll let you,
yeah.
The design is to be like deceptive, and he wanted you to like Photoshop your picture in like a funny way. So there was like work involved. There was steps.
Oh, that's fun.
So like, and I
thought
that was and I think each geocache is like its own experience, and as long as you go through the experience that they intended, that's kind of how I look at those. And great, the good thing is they typically don't allow more than like one of those in a large area. if they
Mhm.
allow them at all. So there's not like the game's not flooded with those.
Now, this is sort of on the same topic, kind of. And this is, do you log a tree climb if you didn't actually climb the tree?
I don't know. Never happened.
I would climb the tree anyway. But
let's say that
Texas challenge people that were all kinds of cheating last time I was down there.
Oh yeah, they're supposed to not be allowed to cheat on that. Wasn't somebody? Wasn't
well,
there
was a camera and somebody got busted? What?
Yeah, they did get busted.
Ooh, tell me more. Tell me more.
Oh no, it was people got busted down there, and they told them don't be doing that, and they got busted. But when you're normally caching, there's no,
different.
But
that was a challenge, and that was
if there's like a tree climb and you're going to several of them. Sometimes you'll alternate back and forth, or I'll send my daughter up there. Sometimes, the gymnast one or whatever. It's dumb when there's 6 people and you climb up and climb down. What are you going to do that every time? That doesn't make any sense.
And we don't want like Angie climbing trees right now. She's with child. We don't want to do that.
Go Zach.
She gets to double log that, right?
That's at least 1.5 log.
Yeah, she can log twice right now with her new. But so
not only do I have to climb the tree myself, I have to climb it faster than anyone else that's found it.
That's right.
Of course.
It's a race.
Even though nobody knows how fast.
When it's your turn to climb the tree in the group, you hide it higher than it was before. So they have to climb even further up.
Yep. 1 foot higher is my rule. But seriously, we actually had a issue here in town where people were. It was almost like they were too ethical. And it ended up costing us about 3 dozen caches around town because, it was a small, young-ish tree, and an FTF came out, and there was a huge rush of everyone. It was perfect time of the day, and it was the first time I met another group of geocachers, and actually about a dozen of us met at the base of this tree. I got the FTF, and then when I was coming down, another guy was going, so he went up and got it. And eventually there's this group around the bottom of this tree and they're climbing up and down, everyone getting up and signing it instead of just, I don't know, tossing it down, signing it, and then putting it back. And it took so long that actually a Parks and Rec person drove by, saw this, and we explained what we were doing. And partially, I think just because it was such a young tree, if it had been a huge tree and we're climbing on the big branches, that'd be fine. But it was pretty young. And so there was maybe a branch or two broken. And they actually went, and the next day, all tree caches in any park in the city were archived.
Oh,
and that they were no longer,
No.
So, so that took a lot of wind out of our sails. And you appreciate the ethical thing that people were doing, but when it costs that much, I think it would have been nicer if we had just tossed it down, all signed it, and moved about our day. And then one person a week finds that cache for the rest of the time.
Right. You're right. All right. Who's next?
Moving on to the next one.
Yeah, who's going to answer this one first? Not me, but
I will.
I just did. Okay. Do you hold back logging a cache to fill a date square you are missing? Either challenge type thing you're doing or...
So I don't do this one intentionally, but I absolutely would say that I've logged caches on the wrong date before.
But not on purpose.
Terrible logger. And I've forgotten to log caches. Right. I'll log like 4 or 5 caches on a Monday that we got all weekend. I try to get it right if it matters. Sure. Right? Like if there's some reason that it matters, like it was a holiday or something, but probably 10% of mine are not logged on the right date. Because sometimes I'll log a bunch at one time, and I am terrible at it. But I try not to hold them back intentionally for that.
Yeah, right. You're not like you don't. This isn't you, but let's say you need to fill. I don't know if you finished your 365 because you had a whole year. But let's say you look at it and go, oh, I need one on Wednesday, and I found some this Saturday.
No, actually, now that you're talking about that, Earth caches, when you've seen them, do you wait on your answer to come back and that's the day you log them? Do you log them back on the day that you got them? What's the... And challenges. You log those on the day that you actually qualify for the challenge, not the day you signed them, right?
Right. Unless you're there's some challenges that remember we saw when you were down.
It gets pretty wonky.
That was like you had to do it on the 5th or the 15th or it had to have a 5 in the date. Remember that one?
Yeah. That's why they redid all the challenges because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to police that.
Now Earth caches. I don't know what you do about Earth caches, Angie.
I say you just wipe them all out and don't have them anymore.
Well,
I feel like, yeah. I usually find Earth caches on road trips, and at first I didn't realize there was a 366 or 5 or whatever thing it is, and I still don't know. And so I'd come home and I'd do the research and look over everything, and I'd type up a nice log and I'd submit it, and I didn't think about the date. So
yeah.
But I feel like on International Earth Cache Day, makes me wonder how many people actually find an Earth cache that day. I've never done any of that, but you know, I could see.
I've done it with a challenge before, though. Now that I think about it, I've held on to a challenge, but I'm qualified for it, and just had to send in my stuff.
I think with challenges, personally, so I sign them, and basically what I have is I have a list where I dump all the challenges I've ever signed, which is hundreds, and it just sits there and fills up because I mean, you've geocached with me, Jesse. Like, I won't pass up anything, no matter how crazy. Because I started 3 years ago, and the caches, the challenges that I found crazy then, like 6 months later, I was qualified for. 2 years later, I was qualified for 4 times.
Oh, I'll sign any challenges that I get near in hopes that I get to do them later.
So I sign them, I dump them on a list, and then basically whenever I log them whenever. It's not even when I qualify necessarily, or sign them, whichever comes first. It's whenever I have time to sit down and do the requirements for verifying that I qualify, or check to see if I pass the checker, check my profile stats to see if I qualify, and then I can log them. And so every once in a while I'll just sit down, and on a weekend I'll go through and pick a new area and go through, and it's like, well, I signed this whole challenge trail, and I'll look at each one and log the ones that. So all of a sudden, I'll randomly log 5 of them that are off in California from my Yosemite trip, today. And people might not like that, but I'm not going to sit there and go through and try to figure out the exact day I qualified for it and backlog it to there, because I feel like what you have to do is there's like 3 requirements. There's signing it, there's qualifying for it, and there's the proving that you qualify for it. So whenever the third one of those is done, that's when you should log it. And that's how I do it. So a lot of it's just, and I have like about 100 GSAC ones, and I have Apple products, so I haven't done a single GSAC challenge yet. So I'll just log eventually when I'm done with my streak and I have ample time. I'll get the program to run on my laptop, and I'll go through and probably log 100 caches.
Yeah, there's no doubt that I have dozens of challenges that I've qualified for and signed the log, but I haven't gone back to my list and actually send in the proof on it yet.
Finished it. There's
some that I'm still not, like I signed one when I was down in Texas last time. I think it was like 7,000. That may have been Florida. Like your 7,000 caches or whatever. Well, I'm still right under that, so I'm still not qualified for it. So
you're not quite there, yeah.
Yeah, I'll sign a challenge for anything, even if I think I'll never do it if I'm nearby it.
Oh yeah, I signed all the ones when you came down here, and it's like I don't think I'll ever do all those. But hey, I don't have to go back and sign it on the actual physical log because I actually found the cache and logged it.
But that is the way it's designed.
Yeah,
sign it now, and then don't do a found it log until
I've never done a found it. All right. Let's move on. Next one. This is an interesting one. Do you log an event even if you just showed up for like 30 seconds and leave? Like, and you can use whichever one you want. So now there's different ones though. Like, do you see this as different? Like, if you showed up to the Giga and you went, "Yep, I'm here. Let's get out of here," and leave.
Nobody's gonna not log that. But the Giga, really?
Did they show up? I mean, did they actually?
Yes. How long do you have to? It didn't say you have to be there the whole time.
Right. Yeah. How long did?
The time requirements for the CO, not the attendees. CETO, however, I feel because the spirit of the event is to clean something up, my rule of thumb is fill a bag with trash, even if that takes 5 minutes instead of the whole hour or half hour, however long they are. I think they're an hour. So like there's been a couple of CETOs that I have a busy day and I'm unable to attend for the full hour, but I will sprint around and fill up a bag of something and throw it away.
Because you actually did some cash. You did some.
Yeah, I think CETOs are different because the spirit of those is to actually clean something up. But as far as regular events like a coffee event, if I'm able to stop by for 5 minutes, I'm happy. Whatever.
Sure, that's different. That's interesting. So, if we went to one of Jesse's, no, it's not Jesse's anymore. Monday event, you have to go in, right? You can't just show up in the parking lot and go, "Yep, I was here." It doesn't really count.
Yeah, I mean, you would want to go in to attend the event, but I mean, who's going to say anything about it, right?
Well, and this is the caveat for the whole night, and that is, if you want to you can kind of do whatever you want. I mean,
this is ours.
You can do the sport of geocaching.
Well, I can think of one particular day, Pi Day, and there were like 11 geocaching events across the state in Colorado. And me and a group of people plotted it out, and we went to, it was either like 8 or 9 or 11 or something like that, but we went through the state hitting every single one. So all of them we weren't able to stay for the whole 30 minutes. Some of them we were able to stay longer, but we did it for a few minutes at a time, and I absolutely claimed all of those.
Zach, your hands up.
Yeah, I think I just try to be polite, man.
I know I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
You're great.
We need like a button we can hit that like
turns
your screen green.
Right.
Yeah. But basically I think what's coming to mind with these when it's like, dash, I think it's more of like a dash and cash at events. Where I think of the ones that people typically stay for a shorter amount of time are the ones where it might be like we've had several GeoArt release events. And so you get there and it's like 8 a.m. on a Saturday, but then at 8:10 or something, they've scheduled the caches to go live. And so if you're a little late to that and you show up and you're just entering and then all of a sudden the caches go live, it's kind of like, say hey to everybody, but then everyone's getting in their cars anyway and going out to get the art.
Well, just like at a Mega or Giga, I do. When I go to one of those, I'm there for all the breakouts and all that other stuff. But a lot of people come, show up, and leave and go cache all day.
Sure.
You wouldn't, nobody would think that they didn't attend.
No, you're right. You're right.
And I prefer to stay at the event the whole time when I go to an event anyway. But, if somebody was passing through one of mine, I would have no problem with it. I guess that's a better way to put it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned cache logs. They actually took that out of the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the cache logs are not required. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they aren't required, but I think that's if a log is there and you sign it, I think that's like the end all be all, even though it's not required. But we have brew tour events that are on every week or every 2 weeks here, and so I just have like a one drink. Like if I have a drink, I'm.
You were at the brew tour, yeah.
Yeah, so I step in the door, smash a beer against my forehead, shotgun it, and leave. No.
That's good.
Kidding, just kidding.
I know. Well, I know. Zach, crank up your audio your volume just a touch. All right, we're moving on to the next one. Oop. We have that fine line on yours. I think we're okay. Yeah, I think we're good. All right, we're on to the next one. You open a geocache, you find a soggy logbook. What do you do, Angie?
I think this falls into what you were talking about right before the show started.
Yeah, a little bit. So there's a lot.
Tell us about the one tell about the one you found today.
Well, I'm starting to write more needs maintenance logs too, so I feel like that's probably keep that in mind. But it was an easy one, like a PNG, and I found the container, but it didn't have a lid and it didn't have a logbook. So it's like, what's the point of putting a log in there? Because it's just going to get wet anyway, right? I don't know. So I logged it as a find, and then I wrote a needs maintenance. But I know some people just write a DNF, and then that's it. So I don't know.
So it depends, right? If it's a soggy mess and the log is there, I'll try to scribble something on it. But like one that I just found, and I took a picture of it for the cache log or whatever, but I claimed it as a find. All I found was the container strapped to the tree, but the top was gone and the log was gone. Right. Now, I stuck a new piece of paper in there. I didn't have it, but I didn't have a top, so it's going to be gone, eventually. Right. But I signed it, took a picture of it, put my little new log, replacement log in there, but there's a good chance that it'll be gone again because it's in bad shape or whatever. Now I'll put a note on it needs maintenance or whatever, but I found it, stuck a piece of paper in there. It's where it was supposed to be exactly. So that's kind of borderline for me, but
yeah.
If the log's soggy, I usually just unroll it, set it on the hood of my car, and then just tell jokes to it. And my humor's so dry that it just instantly.
He just gives up life, is what's happening.
Yeah,
that's good.
It just shrivels up.
But Gary, what about you?
Oh, I'll number one, I'm going to log it. I found it. And it's not necessarily my fault or my job to fix your caches for you. Now, I will attempt to fix it if I can. I've been known to, if it's just wet, I get in the car and I crank the heater up, and whatever the temperature, it doesn't really matter. I can hold the thing up and I dry it out and then I sign it. But if it's a soggy, complete mess, I try to keep stuff with me and this is something I know you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to fix other people's caches, but come on.
Small maintenance you can, I think.
Small maintenance, I think, is really within the spirit of the game, is to go, is to try to help out. Now, and of course you have to be careful about this because and this is something we'll get into here in a minute, which is about the whole container. But the container's there, the log's a disaster, the log's a mess, and I try to fix it. So, all right. Now here's the next question.
Hold on. Before we get to that one.
Oh, okay. You got an idea. Okay,
there's offshoot on that part. So,
all right.
Is it important to you to sign it, date it in the proper location?
No.
Sign it. You mean
like, here's your log sheet, the vertical log sheet. You sign at the bottom, you put the date on there.
Wherever there's space.
I intentionally don't do that. So
I know. Isn't it? It's like a little ounce of pleasure, like putting it elsewhere on the log, waiting for that person to call you out, like your name's not on the log, and it's like, flip it over, buddy.
My favorite thing to do. There's a cacher in our area that finds tons more caches than I do. So his stamp is almost always on there, but it's like a circular stamp with a hole in the middle of it.
Yep.
It's always signed right in the middle of it.
Sign in the middle of theirs.
Yep.
I don't care if he found it like 3 months ago. I look for that.
You find that log, yeah.
The old Memphis bullseye.
That's right. There you go. Right. Now that's okay. Now the thing we can't do, and we've talked about this before on shows, is to fill up a nano log across the page and take up 12 or 13. That's
just rude. That's not even ethics. That's just rude.
Right. Well, it's an ethical thing. You really shouldn't. I mean, that's bad. That's poor ethics to do that.
I'm fine with anarchy. I don't want to be a, you know what.
Sure.
I should. Thanks for censoring yourself. I should start a new geocaching account that's just called, blackout, and then just go blackout all the logs. So
right,
completely Sharpied black.
Right. I thought that's what you're supposed to do, is like blackout. No. All right. Now here's the next thing. Because this gets into the next sort of, take this one step further, which is, do you replace a cache that you think is missing? And my caveat to this question also is, answer it as though it's an LPC, or if it's a difficulty 5 puzzle cache that you solved and now you're stuck because you're in the right spot. So first, Well, answer me both ways. So go ahead, somebody.
Who wants to go first?
I can take it. I haven't taken one in a bit, but I would say I replace in Sioux Falls when I know the CO. We all trade containers enough that typically we know what type of container, because a lot of people do series around here, so we know what containers are in the series. And so we try to have replacements for each other's stuff, and we're all pretty comfortable. We've expressed that we're comfortable with that. So you can kind of look at the DT, you know what to expect, you know where their hide would be. And you know, obviously can also like message them or call them just to verify. But typically, you know, once I get out of the Sioux Falls radius, that drastically drops to close to nothing that I would replace, unless I find like a DNA tube that's cracked and broken, and it's like, well, I have something to replace it right here. Because I also want the game to, like, we want this game to last and continue. And some people view that, well, it's not my responsibility, and that's a completely fine way of looking at it. But at the same time, like, I've met so many people that I have this whole box right here filled with like pill bottles, DNAs, like all the typical stuff that people have given to me that I'll either use for trails of my own, but typically I just have it in my vehicle, and I'll replace and maintain caches, especially ones that should stick around. They're older or they're good fizzy combos, things like that. Just because I want this game, even if the CO doesn't maintain them, I want the game to stay, like, have something for people to find.
Yeah,
I was with Zach until the very end.
Jesse's good to a point there.
I was gonna say Zach answered it perfectly right until the very end. If I know just like him, if I know the CO, you know, I know what kind of, if it's like half a bison's hanging, I'll absolutely fix that, and I have some extras. But if it's one of those that, like, it was done by a cacher that's no longer around anymore, I'm not going to replace that. I'm going to DNF that one and put it, because it needs to be gone. If somebody that's no longer around, it's just like a trash cache. I don't mean like an old one.
Even if it's Terriol.
No. It's not like an old. I'm talking about like a trash cache.
It's an old one though. Too.
Just like a trashy nothing. If it's an old one, it's different.
Yeah, I was talking about the ones that are like need to stick around.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah. So
yeah. No, okay, then we're on the same page then.
And
historical
us, like,
one or something of value, I'll do whatever I can to help that. You know, even if the owner's passed away. But if it's just some throwdown under a bush and the person did like 2 caches and quit the game, I'm not going to keep that one going.
Yeah, no, and we take it a step further around here. We actually have the famous geocaching geo art that spells geocaching. We actually created a new account that we finally convinced them to adopt over the caches to, so that like 6 of us in the local area can maintain it and keep it alive for people that are coming, because so many of those were going missing. And so that's what was in my mind when I was saying that we replaced these. Because there's some that are just worthy to stick around, and even a trail like that where the actual finds are just park and grabs, it's like, it's a geo art that has, I mean, I think there's been like 60 countries that have come and found that thing.
Oh yeah.
So
those, you should be at those. It's the unwritten rule, like that, and power trails. It's the unwritten rule that if it's broken or missing, you're supposed to replace it, because the group or whoever put those out can't go out there every time another group comes through. And a lot of times they have extra container. You know, that's, power trails are a whole separate thing in geo art. That's a different.
And I'm seeing a few people in the chat rooms asking, like, how old is an old cache? Well, I think it's relative to your area. Because like around you guys, like an 02, I'm guessing, is like the old caches in Denver. But like, if like,
no, we have a lot of the older ones here.
Yeah, so
we
like
have we have some old ones.
The 06s in Sioux Falls, those are the oldest ones here, but you probably have 200 of those. You know, but we want to try to keep around the dozen 06s, because someone that comes and just starts geocaching and all of a sudden might be alerted to what a Jasmer is, like that. Those are the closest ones that they can get. So we really want them to stick around, so they have a few old ones that are any time before 2010, even in this area, that they could get. So,
all right.
The interesting thing about that, I was going to see what Angie's thought is, and this is, what if you get to the location and you are kind of unsure if the cache, like you've looked and you're like, maybe the cache, maybe I'm just missing it, but you're like, I'm pretty sure it's gone, but I'm not completely convinced that it's gone. So Angie, what would you do?
I mean, when I started, I feel like I didn't know very many people, and it's not very active around here, you know? Like I was looking on my logs, and I think it's been over a year since anyone other than me has hit a cache within 30 miles of my town. So I feel like if I'm there and I can't find it, I only did this once. I dropped one. I was like, I don't really care.
That's it. You're off the show.
Shame on you. Oh my
Only once. And I didn't. And then I went to an event like a few months later, and someone was talking about this exact same thing. And I was like, oh no, they're probably talking about this cat.
You're getting voted out of the game.
I don't know. I still don't know if they were talking about that one or not, but they never said anyone's names.
And I have never been as disappointed in someone as I am in you.
I'm sorry.
Right now.
I did it, guys.
My world is crushed a little bit. I don't know.
There was probably 2 containers there now.
Angie, you were the standard we all held ourselves to.
That's right. That's it. Anarchy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Okay.
Just kind of quickly on this note, like, I actually got in trouble famously in my area when I first started because I put needs maintenance on like every cache that wasn't there. We've talked about that on the show.
Yeah.
Like, and they weren't there, and most of them, like, I'm pretty sure most of them weren't, because we just had we had gone through a lull of a year where no one was maintaining things, and I came through and I was so frustrated that I was so into this game.
Popping a needs maintenance on it.
But they were all gone, and I'm like, needs maintenance. And then a few of them were like, well, no, this one's here. It's just harder. And I went back and found those. But the idea of it was there were a lot that were gone, and the COs were retired from geocaching, and they needed to go. And now we've kind of revitalized the area, so I think we're pretty good now.
All right, Jesse, ask this one because I want to see what the...
Yeah, because I do too. So what about if you helped somebody build a cache, like you're a beta tester? Do you ever end up logging that cache? So let me give you the example that I'm talking about, because this happens to me all the time. So when Where I Goes came out in this area, I had to help everybody build their Where I Goes.
Right.
So I knew the answers to every one of these.
Right.
So I knew exactly where they were. And so it was easy for me to just go right to the final and log it. But if not, I would have never have gotten to found a Where I Go in my area. And I think beta testers are an important part of the game too, right? If you have a difficult puzzle, you need somebody to help you beta test it. But does that mean they can never go find the cache, or are they cheating now if they go find the cache?
Oh boy, that's a really good one. I
liked what some people are saying, not a FTF.
No, not an FTF. Let's throw that out. Throw FTF out.
Well, I'm only getting it if it's an FTF.
That's just wrong.
That's why you do that, right? Beta tester and FTF.
That's right. You got to steal it for everybody else, and nobody else can.
That's the payment for the work you put in on the Where I Go.
That's right.
That could happen too. We've talked about this with about reviewers. Reviewers they want to geocache, but they all know where they are because they review it, so they know where.
That's why I think we need to I think part of we need reviewers with amnesia,
Not really.
Partial amnesia.
So nobody has answered this yet. Would you find it?
That's a tough one. Well, Where I Go is different because, like you said, if you
that's no different than a puzzle.
If you love a Where I Go and you can't, you're not gonna, and if nobody else is making Where I Goes around you,
let's extend it. Where I Go, puzzle, Earth Cache, any of those that you're helping somebody. If you're one of those people that help people in your area, I'm gonna go get it. I'll just tell you now. I'm still gonna go find it eventually, but I would never get an FTF on something like that.
Right.
And almost all of my puzzles, I have somebody look at before I put them out.
Right.
So
that's true.
I would never say, here, help me solve this puzzle that I'm going to put out, and you can never go find it.
And don't go find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since y'all were too chicken to answer that question, I'll answer it for you.
Tough. Well, the thing about here's the thing about puzzle caches, though. Hang on a second. So it's one thing to give somebody, basically give them the final. They still got to go find it. I mean,
please.
Oh, come on. Hey, there have been times when we've all been like, here's the chords, go find it. And you get out there and you're like, okay, this one may be a little harder than I thought. I mean,
they could be.
It could be. I mean, it depends on the that's different difficulty, but I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, if there's nothing to it, you're lifting a lamppost skirt to get it. That's not difficult. But
you're lifting Lampy's what?
Lamppost skirts. All right, let's move on. We're running out of time.
We're not. All right, I'm gonna keep us going because Gary's getting us off track. Have you ever trespassed to get a cache?
No.
Borderline.
AG? Borderline. Oh my gosh.
The sign's right there, and you're like by the sign.
No, you're fine.
Right?
I've gone way past that. Well, sort of. Not in the city. Like if it's like private property and like a fence, I'm not doing that. I'm not jumping a fence. But out in the woods, sometimes those borders are kind of, it's kind of iffy. You don't know necessarily where you are.
There's on a shotgun.
That's that's a little different. But
I become very liberal with my view of the world when I'm geocaching.
Yeah,
the land is everybody's. We are all
right.
Now I wouldn't like climb a fence or sneak in a building or do something that's blatantly. But sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this, but I'm pretty sure this dude didn't get permission for this cache. You feel kind of uncomfortable with it.
If it's clearly on, if it's posted private property.
No, not if there's like a sign.
Yeah, if there's a sign. See, down in Texas, pretty much everything's private property. So I mean,
you're gonna get shot in Texas if you trespass.
But if it's posted, no trespassing.
Yeah.
Then I'm not getting into that.
Okay.
I've wrote needs archived for a couple like that.
Oh yeah. If it's something posted like that and it looks pretty obvious
in someone's yard.
That's a needs archived, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If it's something like that, yeah.
Every one of you, the one that comes to mind when you ask this, every one of you would be in stitches laughing so hard if you would have seen me. Then there's one that's on the river that the intent of it is to kayak, and they put it on a tree that's hanging over the bank of a river.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't kayak, you can just high step it through this guy's cornfield. That's right next to his house. So I did that in the evening one time, and you guys would have been laughing if you could have just been sitting on his porch watching me high knee it through his cornfield as the sprouts were just coming up. And
oh my gosh,
I just got to make it a quarter mile, and I'm safe.
Right. Then you're stuck because you're like you have to try to get back. After all that. So.
Yep.
All right, where are we going next?
Let's see. What's next? Do you seek permission for every cache you hide?
I have never sought permission.
That's just wrong.
No, don't even lie either. This is the truth show. No lying. I try to seek permission.
Seek permission if it's in a non-public location.
Well, you're supposed to get it in public anyway, right? Like parks, you're still supposed to find out if it's with the policy. But
yeah, if I put a bunch in a park,
nobody is getting permission for LPCs. Don't even lie.
No.
But if it's something that's permanent, if it's in a lot of mine are on like parkland or forest land or whatever, I'll make sure it's within the policy, or I'll call on something like that. But if it's in like a parking lot, it's just like some silly little challenge or micro somewhere on a bridge. I'm not trying to call the city for that.
Yeah, because down here, each state's different. This is something we really didn't talk about. Is each state kind of handles their property differently. I mean, in Colorado,
where it is.
I don't know about North Dakota. In North Dakota, can you kind of? I mean,
I feel like I know a lot of people in the town. So
she knows all 13 people that live in North Dakota. So it's not that
our park and recs are very. They want you to be in the parks, so they know about geocaching and they promote it. So it's awesome.
Yeah,
they just want to see another human. They just want to see another human being.
That's mean.
Hey, I'm from South Dakota. We have 18 people.
Right.
Somebody said in the chat room, who is it? Ashton Jacobs said only for Earth caches because it's required, which is funny because it's required for all of them. Earth caches is just the only one they actually check on.
Yeah.
Which I published another one this last week, by the way.
Good job, man. You're like you're like the Uber Platinum Earth Cache guy now.
This is so sad. I own the most Earth caches in the whole state of Colorado.
Right.
And I don't like them.
You hate them. That's okay. But
other people like them, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But so let's say North Dakota is a good example. Let's use North Dakota since we're talking to Angie here. So you're driving along the road, just generic road in North Dakota. You're out in the middle.
They don't have roads there.
They have roads. So you're just like
we don't have trees.
Right.
Okay.
But I mean, see, in Texas is different because, like, if you're driving along a generic road in Texas, there's barbed wire. It's as far as the eye can see. There are no open roads. I mean, you can drive down any road in Texas. Jesse kind of knows it. He's been here long enough. Been down here a few times now. You drive down any road, it's all fenced. Every bit of Texas is fenced. I mean, it's ridiculous. So ours is a different situation because everything's private property down here. You can't go anywhere other than a park or a cemetery. So ours is a really weird state.
Yeah.
Sorry, Texas, but I guess like Jesse, what you're saying is if
the truth is nobody gets permission for all of them.
No, but if it's public property, I kind of see it as
parking lots are not public property though.
But they aren't. You're right. But that's yeah.
And public property is not free property. It's still owned by the city or still owned by
somebody.
Yeah.
I do think it would be hard though to find permission. Like in North Dakota, there are some where you can get lost. Like you can go out on dirt roads and just keep taking dirt roads and low maintenance roads, and hide geocaches out there. I found a bunch. I don't know how you would get permission if they're someone's farmland.
If there were more geocaches out there, you wouldn't get lost.
Yeah, maybe.
I just see Angie going, "Oh, Mr. Tree, can I put a bison tube on your branch?" And that's her permission.
And he didn't say no, so
yeah, it's another living thing.
All right, we're getting crazy now. We better wrap this thing up.
We're the good ones left that we want to hit before.
Yeah, we want to save
enough for at least a whole nother show about this. So let's.
We do. We're gonna save some for the off the record show. So I don't know where do you want to cut off tonight? What's the last one you want to do tonight?
And signing the log.
Yeah. What is that? You've got that one on there.
So my question is, I've seen people, and this speaks to, and I'm not trying to be old man here. This speaks to maybe people younger than myself, who I know, who geocache, and they will find caches. And this is sort of a reversal too. I've seen it, but I've seen this happen two different directions. So first one is they find it. They found the cache.
Mm-hmm.
They're not carrying a pen. They're they're a 20-something and they're just out to do a little bit of caching. They're not going to open the thing up and sign it, but they found it.
I feel personally attacked.
I know. Yeah. Hey,
us 20-something.
Your ages, you could be, whatever. It can be. It really could be any age, but people find caches and they go, well, I got it. It's in my hand. I don't have time. I don't have a pen.
It's micro. I don't feel like unrolling that log.
Yeah, I don't have time for all this. They found it. They put it back.
Yeah, I want to sign every one that
I did. Right,
it's possible for me to sign if it's dry enough and everything else. I just feel like I need to be able to sign that.
Here's the weird thing, though. Just kind of finish the thought is that this is something my son does in Oklahoma. Is he finds the cache, he signs the log, but he doesn't log it online because he just isn't interested and he doesn't care about that part of it. But he had fun.
There are some people that do that.
And to me, that's fine. Whether you log it on your own account or not, I don't care. Now, the opposite, though, is did you really find it? How do I know that you found it? I mean, and I've told you the famous story about the person here in Texas who I have followed. And weirdly, Susan and I were in Pensacola doing a geo tour, and this person's from Texas, and they happened to be in Pensacola, and they were doing the geo tour as well. But their name wasn't on a single physical log, but they logged every one of those caches. I mean, and then we were down here for we were over near Denton for the Texas Challenge, and Susan and I were out finding caches. Jesse was doing the challenge, and the same person, I'm finding them online. They logged them. Their name isn't on a single one of those logs. As I know, I checked them because we log them all. I mean, we actually physically sign them. I mean, Susan's like, let it go, Gary.
Can you worry about that though?
You can't worry about it
if it's yours. Yeah, but people are always going to cheat. People are always going to do that kind of stuff, and that's where that lack of ethics is.
This is the one show where we don't just give the cop-out answer there, Jesse. Come on, tear into them.
That's right. Actually, that goes over to another show that we've got coming up. I think it's going to be a patron show because I don't think we're going to be able to keep it clean enough for our regular show. But we're doing a pet peeve show because I want to talk about snarky logs because there's one that I can't even bring up without saying bad words.
Yeah,
that's my caches. And then people changing or inflating DTs. And I just, oh gosh, that's the pet peeve show. I cannot even bring it up on this one.
So that's pet peeve stuff. So signing the log, we do feel pretty confident that to maintain geocaching ethics, you need to sign it.
Well, it's just like anything. You're always going to mess up some way, but you need to try to be intending to do the right thing, right, Zach?
Well, I was I was gonna say, like, if it's truly like a 20-something or a teenager that says, I don't carry a pen with me and I just do this whatever on my bike ride home from school, then it's like, well, you're probably doing it on your phone. Then at least post a photo of the log, not the cache, so people don't know what the cache is, but like maybe holding the log.
Yeah.
Like proving it. Like if the people that did what you were talking about, Gary, had photo proof of the log or them holding it, you probably wouldn't question it. You'd probably be okay with it.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
So if their reasoning is, well, I just like, what's a pen?
Yeah.
Then it's like, then use your darn phone camera and take a darn picture, because otherwise it's just your word against things. And I'm sorry, in this game, if it's just your word against no proof, like the CO has complete authority to delete the log if they so choose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right.
We got to cut it off. I know we have double that amount on the list, but we got to cut it off.
But let's final thoughts. Let's go around the room. So Angie, we'll start with you.
I think it comes down to trying your best to be a good geocacher. And when you start, I feel like you make a lot of mistakes.
She's right.
I made quite a few of these things when I started.
Yeah, you're right. We all did.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right.
And it changes. Some days I'm different than other days.
All right, Zach.
I'm going to sign a log sheet wherever I please.
Right.
And
that's good.
It just, if there's my name, like if I just sign Zach, Z-A-K, I can usually fit that into like very tiny spots where like some shorter name left open a space. And then that just saves another spot for someone else before the log has to be replaced. So I'm
good
fine
courtesy.
with doing that.
Yep. Very good courtesy. All right. Jesse, final thoughts tonight?
So when we're talking about ethics, I think it's important to try to do the right thing, right? Like, we could split hairs all night long, but when you're doing the right thing and when you're not. It's integrity like in any other part of your life. Try to do the right thing. However, also keep it in mind that people may interpret things differently, and don't get too high and mighty and worried about how other people play the game, and basically get over yourself. It's just a game, right?
Right.
When people get all uppity about it, that's when it's annoying. It's like, it is just a game, and everybody's out there just to play and have fun, and we get no real money from this, so chill out a little bit. But don't be something that we'd have to say on the patron show.
Yeah, chill out, says the guy who's about to go off on this patron show.
That's right. I'm dying right now.
keep that fervor for another night.
We got to keep our family-friendly rating for the public show.
Absolutely. So. No explicit ratings on our show.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Email us your comments at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Geocache Talk, at Gary Slinkard, Instagram, Geocache Talk, or Memphis Mafia, all one word. Facebook, facebook.com/Geocache Talk. Show can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, as well as the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button below and ring that bell so you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. Be reminded, and please tell your friends about the show. Get them involved as well in our chat room. I'm sure they were buzzing tonight, as usual. But, tell people about the show so we can get people, more people to enjoy it. So please do that for us. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching. Do the right thing. What are you doing? Yeah, he's trying to show his thing.
He's testing ethics.
All right, Zach.
Check out the trackable code if you made it this far.
Oh my gosh. Go geocaching. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Later.